to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
I need an attorney, and I need one now.
Mike is doing something weird. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay, Big E, Kadog. Final show before heading off to.
I was going to say, final show. My God.
Yeah, he's
No
ditching
idea.
us for like a week.
Oh, that son of a bitch. Barely
know.
shows up anyway.
Right?
How are you, Mike?
I'm doing okay. I'm tired.
Oh, stop it.
I'm not. It's not so much tired. It's, I hate subjects like the bombing and stuff, like those big developing stories.
Oh,
with,
I thought
with
you were
names
gonna-
I can't pronounce. And
I thought you were going to say it's the tragedy, the
oh,
death,
yeah, well, yeah, obviously all that
the
shit
human
too.
loss,
Right.
the loss to our security, the worry that comes after that.
Right.
No.
Right. I
It's
noticed.
selfishly getting boring to you. And I watched it all day, and it's just kind of like nothing else is happening.
Why should I care about this?
It's so
God,
far away. They
how
have
many
funny
died?
names.
This isn't going to affect me.
I can't even pronounce the names. Why can't they be Bill Bilson
Oh,
and
why
John
can't
Johnson?
Bill Jones just bomb something, please, once? Yeah, there's that whole thing, and then fucking E-Tard is over here listening to EDM music at 5:30 in the morning, prepping, firing himself up for the show.
Such a
It's a
dickweed.
zoo around here.
I walked down here, and Kadog's not here yet, and we know that Kadog, is up against it in terms of having to get out of here at a certain time. So it's good to get things rolling, so that we can go
That
to
takes
broadcast
5 minutes,
ASAP.
dude. That
Oh,
takes
I walked
5
down.
minutes.
E's on edge today. Be
And
careful,
E-
Joe.
Oh, I'll be
put me on it.
careful.
You'd get it. But,
I
dude, that takes 5 minutes. I can do that in 5 minutes, dude. You didn't have the
Come
videos
on,
yet.
Big E. Is that all you
Now, when
got?
you give me the videos, that's one thing. That's different. Then I can start helping him with the videos.
I
But
walked down. The
And-
laptop's closed. We're not even close to
So?
going to broadcast. I say, E, are you doing
So
something
what?
important? Or
at 5:20,
yeah,
who
yeah.
cares?
I don't know. It's the difference between getting the
No,
show
it's
going
not.
at 6:10
No,
or
it's not.
6:30.
No, it's not.
No.
No, it's
Hmm.
not. It takes 5 minutes to set up the YouTube feed and all
How long
that
did it
shit.
take you to find the videos? You were still working on them when we came down
No,
here.
no,
Jackweed.
no. I was not, dude. That's not what happened. I
No,
had
no.
the video of Trump. I had the video of the both videos up. I
Which
did
are
it.
probably the wrong videos, which we'll find out in about 10 minutes.
Sure,
Nah.
whatever. That's fine. That's fucking
See?
bull. No, you'll see nothing, dude. You're such
What?
an asshole sometimes, dude. The shh that comes on the YouTube, I don't do anything different. It takes 5 minutes to set up the YouTube feed.
He's got a
dude.
burr in his saddle today.
No, I don't have a. No, I don't.
I didn't do
I come
shit
here
to
like
him.
that. Yes.
Listen,
You fuck you. You didn't do shit.
What did he do? What exactly did he
Both
do?
things. The YouTube thing. Oh, maybe today I won't go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
If
do
any-
anything to do with that.
if
I
anyone
don't press a fucking button that changes anything on that.
If anyone
Nothing.
watches us on
Nobody knows
YouTube,
what we're talking about right now.
Nobody knows.
Nobody can
Right,
do what
you're
we
right.
do.
They don't know.
if
because it doesn't
anybody
happen.
watches us on YouTube, you will see distinctly on days where E takes us to
I'm gonna-
broadcast,
I'm gonna start.
the
I'm gonna go
broadcast
back to
starts
all of
out
them next
at-
week.
like so.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No way. Nothing different.
But strangely, when Kadog's here, it's smooth.
Well, then maybe I don't know, man. Maybe Kadog should be here 5 days a week, and I'll show up 2 days a week.
if
That'd
we
be
could
fine with
trade
me.
Kadog for you, we would in
I
a
agree.
second.
I agree. In
I think
fact, if it were up to
everybody
me, I wouldn't
agrees.
even fucking be here. but-
Everybody agrees.
It is up to you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You don't have to be here.
I
You
gotta
can-
wait. I gotta wait until I'm out of my contract. I guess I don't know.
You're
Contract.
your contract. You're going to be held to your contract. No, if you want to go, you can go. No one's going to keep you here, make you be here.
That's ridiculous. The shit, it's like I don't mind. I get pounded on so much, which is fine. And most of the time, 90% of the time, I deserve it.
Well
Unquestionable.
deserved. Yeah. Agreed.
But I'm not gonna sit here and take stupid shit about the fucking. Oh, it's 5:20 and the YouTube thing isn't up yet. That takes so little time to do. It's no big deal. The videos were ready. The YouTube sound is not my fault. I don't do anything different than Kandog does.
Well, we'll get a
And I don't
nice
really-
test run next week when Kadog is gone because
Yeah.
he's off to Cuba.
Sure, everything will go swimmingly.
Absolutely.
Maybe it won't. Who cares? I don't know.
I don't know. Us, our listeners, that's who cares, dickhead.
Yeah, I know, but I don't.
Whatever.
I'm so-
That's why people hate you.
I don't care why.
Bad
people-
attitude.
I don't give a fuck why they hate me.
Well, I'm okay. Well, just so you know, that's why. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the myriad reasons.
Who gives a shit? I'm so sick of this fucking shit, man. I'm not as big of an asshole as it seems.
Nah,
I know I
that's-
am. man.
It's debatable.
And I
It's
do,
debatable.
and you know what? Of course, I care whether the show gets up or not.
well, then
But
why
it
did
was-
you just say you didn't?
I didn't say that. I
'Cause
said
you
I don't care
lashed
because
out.
it's at 5:20 when you come down here and it's act as if it's not going to be up, dude. I could start that. We're never ready to go at 6:00. By the way, I always have the YouTube feed up by 6:00. Always.
Yeah, I think you're overstating how I presented the issue of getting the show ready this morning. I simply came down and said, "Hey, are you doing anything? If not,
no,
can
that's-
you jump?"
That's not how you presented it on the show. You go, oh, Dickweed's down here listening to EDM.
Well, it's
and the
true.
show- yeah,
No,
so what?
I said that about the
No,
EDM.
that's not
I didn't
what-
know.
no,
I
he
didn't know.
said
About
that-
this.
I added dickweed.
You did add dickweed, but
That
I didn't
doesn't-
know about this underlying tension between you two.
Nor did I.
I didn't
Oh,
realize
yeah,
I
it was
thought
going
everything was great this
Shut
morning.
up.
I had no idea. I thought it was going to be a we'd be so far past this by now. It's going to reference the fact that you're pumping yourself up to EDM music down here,
Well,
which
that
I
had to
thought was
bring
kind of
up the
hilarious.
fact that had to bring up to the fact that at 5:20 the feed wasn't up. It's up. That thing is ready to go every day. At
Would you
6:00.
agree with this? That if you're here, you might as well prep for the show instead of just watching videos.
No, I wouldn't agree.
No,
with that.
okay. Well, you're a dickhead.
Okay.
Kadog, are you excited to go to Cuba?
I am super excited. About
Are you?
it. Yes.
Yeah. You taking any special precautions? Are you? I don't know. You can't fly out of here.
Did you get
No.
your shots? Oh shit! You didn't get your
Oh,
shots.
no.
I'm always up on all my
You don't
shots.
need shots. You need shots for Cuba.
I don't think anything special, but I have all the.
Okay.
The
all the
TT fly.
hepatitis and
TT
everything
fly. Watch it.
I did have to find special bug spray for going down there.
Watch the bot flies too. They'll get in your head.
Oh yeah. We don't bring any bot flies back with you, please. Are you going to try and bring some Cuban cigars back?
I will bring them
Hopefully-
as far back as Canada.
Yeah. Okay. See what you're
For the
saying. I see
record.
what you're saying there. What are you doing with your household responsibilities? I mean, you've got pets. You've got what do you do with that? I didn't get a call to watch. I'm busy with Harry Man right now.
Yeah,
So.
I probably should have called Beth to watch the proof.
No, you shouldn't have. She probably would have taken it.
What's
Yeah,
your
She would
proof's
never
name?
have said no.
No,
What-
she
what-
probably wouldn't
It
have.
wouldn't matter if she was working like 24-hour shifts.
What's
Yeah.
the proof's name?
Hades.
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 And what kind of proops is he again?
He is a Thai Ridgeback.
Right.
Right. There's like 3 in the world.
Yeah.
And my friend's son is going to be watching him. So
Mm.
that's all good. Although a little bit concerned about some potential bad karma floating
no.
around there. I think we kind of missed this when we were recapping the weekends, but last week Robin was dog sitting for a coworker and the worst possible scenario happened. The dog actually passed away on her watch.
Shit.
Really? How
I just your friendship is over in my opinion at that point. I'm just not talking to that person.
Yeah, you
I'm
just
leaving
gotta
the
leave.
house, leaving a note. I'm so sorry. I swear I didn't mean it.
Was it a very old dog?
yeah, it had to be like a
Bye.
19-year-old dog or something.
It was 9 years old, but a large breed dog.
Oh,
So-
a huge carcass.
Yeah, 80
Did she just leave it?
It's an 80-pound carcass. I had to actually go over and help.
No way.
Did you do that? I've got the front hands. You've got the back hands.
We wrapped it in a blanket and then wrapped it in a sheet and carried it out.
Oh, you made it a cigar?
Yeah.
Wow. So wait a minute. You didn't. So what was Robin saying? Was she like, oh my God, it tripped and fell down and hurt itself?
No,
Something like that?
she was kind of watching TV and fell asleep on the couch. And she said she woke up, the dog was panting and breathing really hard and then just stopped.
Oh no. Poor poops.
Wow.
So she didn't beat it or anything.
No, I mean, I wasn't there. I can't confirm.
Yeah, who was
that,
there?
but-
Do we have
Yeah,
any proof?
no witnesses, and obviously the dog's no longer with us, so it can't tell us its side of the story.
And they don't do autopsies on dogs. So, I mean, forever a mystery.
I honestly wouldn't know, like, if something happened, God forbid, to Izzy, like, I wouldn't even know what to do.
You'd leave it.
Maybe.
Leave it for someone else to deal with. I
Yeah.
like that she called in the wolf though to take care of it.
Yeah, it's right out of Pulp Fiction, calling in Kadog. I mean, what with his CIA background?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you wrap the thing up, you take it out in the garage and leave it there until what? I mean, what?
Yeah, we put it in our shed until its owners could come back and get it. Yeah.
You put it in the shed. You didn't bury it or take it somewhere. I don't know where you would take it though. What are you?
Yeah,
what
I
are
don't think you can
supposed to
take
do?
the liberty to. We don't know how they want the body disposed of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you can take them to like any vet and they'll hold them in cold storage, but it was cold enough that we thought it'd be okay.
It's cold
A few
enough, and
hours.
it was storage.
Yeah.
Oh, what about it? What an easy dog sitting job that turned into.
I
Really.
know.
How early into
That's-
it was it?
No, it was the day before they were coming to get it.
Jesus.
Oh,
So
sucks.
you still get paid
Yeah.
or?
And then it was funny too, like the differences between men and women. Robin calls the guy up and she's like, you're sorry to tell you this, but your dog's dead. And she's like, and all he keeps saying is, yeah, I'll call you later. And she's like, why is he doing that? I'm like, because he's in the car with his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
He's got 13 hours of driving ahead of him. The last thing he wants is
Yeah.
anybody else in that car to know what's
Yeah.
going on. But
Yeah.
her female mind couldn't like wrap. She was just so distraught. She's like, everybody should know the bad news.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, deal with that problem when you get back.
That blows. She had to feel like they're gonna think I did something wrong, and I mean that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
awful. But they're cool with it,
It-
as cool as they could be.
In a strange twist of fate, they actually have the same vet. So she called her vet to figure out what to do with the body. And the vet's like, that
Oh,
dog
the
had
wolf.
cancer. So
Oh, really?
yeah, the owners actually knew it had cancer.
Isn't that a HIPAA violation? Vet disclosing
Yeah,
like that?
I would
That's-
think so for
yeah.
sure.
Mm.
Yes, there are privacy laws.
I don't know post-mortem if it matters at that point. But,
Wow.
he was trying to give her some like solace on
Yeah.
the fact that she didn't actually kill the dog. The dog was on its way out.
Okay.
It just had surgery on its arm to have like a mass removed and it was tumorous. So
And they didn't mention that to her.
yeah,
like,
why
hey,
wouldn't
you know,
you mention that?
yeah, I think that's the real wrongdoing. In this
yeah,
story.
this is bullshit. Robin's
Yeah.
stuck with his dying dog. She's
Yeah.
basically a hospice care worker at that point. She has no idea.
Yeah, that's really shitty to do. I think you have an obligation to let someone know what the health situation of said pet
It's
is. if you're
intentional
gonna leave
infliction
it.
of emotional distress putting her in that situation.
Yeah, she thought
Bowels
about-
probably released all over,
Oh,
right,
did
Kadog?
they?
Yeah,
They did?
Oh no!
What?
And you had to. That's why they went on vacation.
Yeah.
They knew this was coming.
The dog's gonna die in the next week. Let's get out.
out of here.
They get the kids. They'll have the kids not deal with it. We don't want to deal with it.
So the bowels released.
Yeah.
What was
Did
that?
you
Did you
call-
leave that too?
Well, she cleaned that up before I got there.
Oh,
She did.
I would not.
Yeah,
clean
I would have
it
left
up.
all of it. I would have
Yeah.
left
I
every
just
bit
left
of
the
that.
house.
The dog passed away in my dog's bed because I have a bed over there for him, and she's like,
No.
"I just got to throw
Yeah,
that away."
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good idea."
Yeah.
Gross.
No.
Oh,
So
that's
my
tough,
dog's out
man.
of bed. So
But what about the repercussions? Are you sure you're not worried? Like, why wouldn't you think about getting someone else to watch your dog?
Well, he's not having Robin watch it.
No, but
just
the kid of the person's who's Robin killed, dog killed.
because now all this is fresh in my mind, I don't want something to happen to my dog. I'm going to be
Gotcha.
thinking about it the whole time that my dog's dying somewhere.
Wait, am I understanding this right? You're giving your dog now to the son of that family?
No,
No.
no.
Oh, I
Okay,
thought
that's what I
thought
picked
that's
up
what you
too. I was
said.
like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
I
like,
missed
what are you
that
talking about?
conversation
I swear, why did you say the son? You said the son of, and then you said
of a friend.
Yeah,
of
there's
his.
different
Okay.
friends in the world,
Not related.
not just one set of friends.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I appreciate
Come on,
that.
Big E. Is that all you got?
Biggie is so on edge. He wants to
I
punch
don't like
Jay
him,
right now.
his giant head, or his beady little eyes.
Anyway.
I guess I'm attracted to a dude. That says the guy who wants it anally. So
Yeah, I want it anally.
I
guess I'm attracted to a dude.
funny. I get it. I guess I'm attracted to a dude. Fucking hilarious, dude. Like the lowest common joke possible. I guess I'm attracted to a dude. I won't say fuck, but I'll sit there and make gay jokes. I guess I'm attracted to a dude.
This is getting uncomfortable.
I'm not
I
making
hate
any
when it
gay
gets.
joke.
I don't like when the team's mad at each other or flustered.
Flustered? Who's
Yeah.
flustered or mad?
I guess I'm flustered. And
Come
he's-
on, Big E. Is
he's
that all you
mad.
got?
He's threatened to quit the show like 3 times this morning. You know, even though it's kind of like, it's not like it's like a veiled threat. You know, like-
Right. Obviously, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eye.
Anyway,
He's a mess.
we're all a mess. We're better than Brussels, Belgium.
Nice segue.
You like that? Seguia?
Segui.
Yeah, it's just one of these stories that's, of course, dominating the news cycle. It broke almost 24 hours ago when we we're doing the show yesterday, and of course the body count has risen with the attacks there, and it looks like there are definitely links between the dude that was caught.
Salah Abdel Salam.
Yeah, Abdel Salam, the guy that was caught on what, Friday, was it?
Yeah, and it sounds like these brothers who they think were the suicide bombers at the airport might have been the two guys who escaped from a raid that had to do with Salam just last week.
Yes, exactly. They've identified him. That's kind of the big news today, is that the brothers have been identified as Bill and Rick Johnson.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. I misread that. I'm sorry. It's not Bill and Rick Johnson.
Larry and Kevin?
No. Close.
Carlson? No.
You're close. You're on the right track. Actually, it's Ibrahim and Khalid El Bakrouhi.
Okay.
So close. They've been identified as the brothers in the airport suicide bombing that murdered 14 people. And as you mentioned, this is 8 days. What are you laughing at? What?
I guess I'm attracted to a dude.
8 days after escaping a shootout with police in Brussels, the third member of the bombing squad, known as the Man in White, you've seen all the videos or still images that were released, the closed circuit ones from inside the airport there of the two guys that look like they're out of the jihadist text, like central casting. It's
and then the third one looks like he has like a Groucho Marx glasses and nose on,
Yeah, he looks like Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of has that the glasses and that hat on.
Floppy hat.
They've said that guy, the Man in White, is expert bomb maker Jim Stevens. No, shit, I read that.
Steve Stansfield?
No, I read that. Close though. Close. Stansfield. Yeah. Najim Lakhroushi, who is still on the run after leaving a suitcase packed with explosives and calmly leaving the terminal moments before 8 a.m. when it all went down.
And that one apparently didn't go off. Nice expert bomb maker.
No,
Najim.
I think it did, but I think he just left. Like his wasn't triggered for him to go off because he's the expert bomb maker.
I know he wasn't strapped, but I thought his didn't go off. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. And then it was like an hour and a half later that the bomb went off on the metro train, which killed more people.
Incredibly well coordinated.
Absolutely. This Lashrouhi was already one of the world's most wanted men, having built the suicide vest that helped kill the people in Paris. So these are all intermingled. And Khalid Bakrouhi rented the apartment where Salah Abdel-Sam was captured. His arrest on Friday is believed to have sparked the twin terror attacks that left 34 people dead and hundreds injured. All the men were well known to detectives and have been on the run for almost 10 days following this shootout in this terrorist hideout. It gets confusing because it sounds like there's multiple shootouts, and there was one like Tuesday, which this is referencing when these guys took off and went on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the capture on Friday, and then this goes down. And so they really are starting to think that that there was information that Salah Abdel-Sam would have had, that they were like, okay, it's go time. This was probably meant to be, because they knew that they were getting information out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think that there were weeks or months down the road was going to be something bigger than Paris was going to go down. And then they had to just rush it out there.
Because these things are incredibly well coordinated.
Absolutely.
We'll do ours at 8. You do yours at 9:30. Go.
Yeah. Belcade, he was killed by a sniper. They found an ISIS flag, an AK-47 assault rifle, and a book of jihadist literature next to his body.
What's up with the ISIS flag? Do you find that weird that they're actually sporting an ISIS flag?
You know what?
Like, what do they
That's
have?
funny.
Business cards
do.
too. You got T-shirts.
Yeah, it seems like you would want to draw as little attention as possible.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how these people, it seems like, are able to go about their normal business. It's like this guy, the Man in White's on the loose. He, APB for the Man in White. And it's like, did you check his house? How about we check his neighbor's house? Because this Abdel Salam apparently just went home.
Yeah,
he was literally like 100 yards from where he grew up his whole life and sat there for 4 months going grocery shopping, ordering pizza. Like this is the scariest part of this.
That there's a community surrounding them.
There's a whole community that's refusing to turn these fucking assholes in. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable when you think about it. I mean, they're known worldwide. Their images are globally known, and yet they're able to just go about their business. That's incredible. The taxi driver who drove the bombers to the airport led police to their hideout.
Yeah, how about this? Are they even tipped on that quickly to where their hideout was, where they find the bomb-making materials? If they didn't take a taxi, how stupid is that?
Yeah.
Again, this goes to this notion that, oh, incredible coordination. They're these real clandestine cells of people just working. They're in large part doing dumb shit, making stupid mistakes that truly sophisticated spy-like activities wouldn't go about doing. Like, you'd take a taxi, really?
Yeah.
You'd leave somebody there to be a witness to that? No, you'd rent a car a week in advance or something under a false name, and then you'd take it there, just like they did on 9/11, right? Didn't they find terrorist rental cars and shit? You'd take a taxi?
Yeah.
So the guy can go, wait a second, I have those 3 guys in my car. Oh, you did? Where'd you pick them up?
Yeah.
Right here.
Here's the address.
They walk in, there's bomb-making materials.
Yeah.
We give these guys way too much credit, or the media does.
I think you're right.
These guys are a bunch of idiot losers, man.
Yeah.
Really, we give them this sense of real intelligence and boy, are they sophisticated. I don't think they are. I think they're a bunch of jackasses who are just looking for a spot on the earth that'll accept them, looking for a group that'll take them in.
Yeah.
And they're just losers.
Yeah.
They're not overly intelligent.
Yeah. And they talk about these overrun communities in Belgium and places like that, where these are like just ghetto shitholes. And a lot of these people aren't even really into the religion that much. It's more about, like what you're saying. It's like Gotham. They're just like, oh, I'm a villain now. And just like go into bomb making and all this shit. But yeah, I think you're right. It is starting to look that way. It's like the authorities are almost overwhelmed by how to respond to this. I've said it before. It was very eye-opening at 9/11 to think that, you just had this wild sense of security in this country where, if anything truly is big is going down, obviously you can have a lone wolf that just pulls a gun out and shoots Big E. But if you have someone,
I guess I'm attracted to a dude.
If you have someone that's planning to fly a plane in, you just had this feeling like, oh, the good guys will come swooping in. We've been conditioned with movies and TV our whole lives to think that there's some overseeing program that has your back on all this stuff. And they just don't.
Yeah.
They just don't. And if you just want to be a dick, we all just kind of play by these rules that, okay, there's going to be a handful of dicks in the world. Let's just overall not be one of those dicks, and we'll be okay. We don't have to agree on everything, but just don't be a dick all the time. But if your goal is to just be as big a dick as you can be.
No, we talked about it yesterday, how easy it would be. And this idea that's so well coordinated. It's not, man. The 4 of us could go do this.
Yeah.
Assuming we have the materials, assuming we have the desire to die, or the willingness to die in this thing.
Yeah. If you don't care about that, that's the key to
pull this shit off. No problem.
The eyewitness accounts are as terrible as they always are. And I hate some of these stories because you just get the feeling that your media is just rock fucking hard as they're reporting this. It's like, I'm just waiting for a director to be in the headset of Wolf Blitz and go, Wolf, we can see your hard on again. It's peeking through your pants.
Get behind the desk, Wolf.
Behind the desk. Wolf, we're gonna need you to scoot close to the desk. We can see your hard on coming through again. As these guys can't wait to fly there. Wow, here we are on the scene. The mastermind. You're giving these guys credit. You're giving them mastermind status. Come on, man. I think you are so right about this, and nobody talks about this. Everyone wants them to make them out to be these brilliant masterminds.
Well, I think it feeds into the government. I think our government wants us to think that they're very hard to catch, because they're so smart, they're so well organized and all that. And there's truth to that, and that there's a network. But I really think we're giving them way too much credit.
Yeah.
In how smart they are and sophisticated.
Yeah.
Bunch of assholes, man. And it's hard to catch because it's an ideology, and like you say, you got these communities willing to protect them.
Yeah,
and they're just everywhere, and you don't know what's in a person's mind at any given moment.
Well, it was very refreshing last night. I watched plenty of news coverage, and it was very, very refreshing to see Muslim leaders and imams coming out, Muslims coming out en masse to denounce this sort of behavior. It was just, oh wait, no, you didn't see that, because you never see that. You never see that. Why is that? Why is that not talked about? Where it's just like, oh, well, and the argument is always, well, when a Christian murders someone, you don't expect the religious leaders for Christianity to come out and denounce it. It's like, yeah, but if they were going out in battle, declaring global jihad in the name of Jesus Christ, I can promise you would have Christian leaders going, this is fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. As far and that's the words they would say. I'm just paraphrasing, of course. They might throw a fuck or two in there as well. But don't you think that the religious leaders would be coming out and being extremely vocal, getting as much separation from this religion as cult as they could?
Absolutely.
They wouldn't appreciate their religion being hijacked like this. And you just don't hear anything from anybody. There'll be a smattering down the road of like, oh yes, we totally disagree with that. You shouldn't do that. I think in the end, this bodes well for someone like Trump. I think, we've talked about that. I think of all the people, the guy that's going to go, fuck these people. I want to go in and waterboard the shit out of them. We're going to bomb the shit out of them.
He's a fear mongerer, so
yeah,
terrorism is about fear.
I don't know that he's a fear mongerer, but as much as it's like he's seeing the same thing we are. Maybe it's a naive perspective, but I don't trust that Hillary Clinton's got that shit.
Yeah,
I think we've seen what. Oh yeah, we've got that shit. It's our president's hanging out with a dictator in Cuba during a baseball game when this is going on.
Juxtaposition of that.
Yeah,
him sitting there with his shades on, being interviewed by Carl Ravitch
in a polo shirt. Yeah, just like, dude,
the terrorists want us to be worried, and we're not gonna. We got to reject that, and we got to realize this isn't really that big of a problem. Was his message? Like,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah. We don't want to give him the satisfaction, but it doesn't come off very leaderly.
No.
And I know it's going to be split down the middle, and politicians are going to play the game. And
they all did.
Yeah.
You think on the one hand, this story takes you away from the whole political scene, but oh no, Cruz steps up with his vampiric point of view, and everybody has to make their statement to look presidential.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, so it'll be discussed ad nauseum, I'm sure. There was a guy that was saved by a cigarette, by the way, on the tram. Yeah, which is great news. It's about time some stories have come out about cigarettes saving people's lives. But there was a guy that was supposed to get on the tram, and he's like, I need another smoke. And so he went and had a cigarette, and boom! And he's like, this cigarette saved my life. Nice. So finally some good press for the tobacco industry. They could really use it.
Not a lot of details about the subway bomb,
which killed more people.
Yeah. Is it thought that was a suitcase left or a bag left? Okay.
Yeah. Loaded with nuts and bolts. Again, shit you can just buy at the hardware store.
Yeah.
And just load it with that shit, and it just fucking sprays everywhere. Ugh. There was a in the one at the airport, Brussels there was some Americans in there. I don't think any were killed. But one of them was a former Oakland University basketball player.
I thought there were some Americans killed. There was like a guy and his family, a former service member or something.
Was there?
I thought so. But
okay,
yeah.
Last night they hadn't announced, as far as I had heard.
There were some Mormons on a mission or on their way to a mission or something who were Americans too who were injured. But the guy you're about to refer to is a former Oakland University basketball player happened to be there.
And I saw this picture going around of him laying there. I don't know if you saw the picture.
Bloody ankle.
Yeah. Sebastian, is it Bellin?
I think so.
Yeah, he's 37 years old. He was at the airport ticket counter when a bomb exploded about 100 yards away. Think about the blast radius when you are thrown off your feet and chucked, and this thing detonated a football field away.
Whew.
That is powerful, man. He was blown away, and he's got a lot of shrapnel in his legs and hips. I was told he's in a lot of pain, but he's doing okay. He's going into his second surgery. That's Greg Campy, his former coach of his, the coach at Oakland University. he is expected to live. I don't know the extent of his injuries, but no one really does right now. It was one of his basketball team, BC Telenet. This guy tweeted, anyways, who was with him there. I don't know who he is, but he tweeted the picture that's gone all over the world that you're seeing, the one we saw with him covered in dust and shrapnel and shit laying on the ground. Can't be confirmed that the image was his former team or player. It's him lying there injured outside. It was obviously a very emotional moment seeing the seeing him injured like that. Bellin was a star center at Oakland University during the early 2000s. They had a good team in the early 2000s, didn't they?
Yeah,
they had a decent.
They've had good teams every few years. Yeah, some really good ones.
He returned to Belgium after his basketball career ended at Oakland. Had a successful basketball career there in Italy for about a dozen years. He works for an agency and commutes between Europe, New York, and West Michigan. It sounds like he's still pretty connected with the program and talks to Coach Campy a lot.
God, that kind of brings it close to home, shows the randomness of this shit.
Yep.
I also heard Dikembe Mutombo on CNN yesterday being interviewed. He happened to be in the terminal.
Really?
Yeah, just talking about people running everywhere.
He sounds like Cookie Monster, doesn't he? I thought Dikembe Mutombo sounds like Cookie Monster.
It was very hard to understand Dikembe's viewpoint.
It's always been very, very hard and difficult to understand Dikembe Mutombo's words.
He had an account though. He was willing to talk, and they were just kind of, you've got the anchor just kind of staring at the screen like,
good point, Dikembe.
What are you saying?
Oh, that's funny.
Random, man.
Trump was on Good Morning America yesterday. By the way, they had the the voting was going on last night.
Yeah, he kicked ass in Arizona, right?
He got his ass handed to him in Utah, another caucus state, which they don't expect to do well. But the vampire was able to take all the delegates there because he got over 50% of the vote. He won in a landslide. I'm assuming that's Mormon.
Yeah, well, that
country
absolutely, and that was the one that Mitt Romney got behind him and told everybody to vote for. So to the extent people care about Mitt Romney, they jump behind the vampire. It appears.
But even with good news for the vampire, out of that thing, he got his ass kicked bad enough in Arizona that Trump still ended up with more delegates at the end of the day. I mean, there were more delegates available for Arizona, and Trump took all of those. That was a winner take all state. So.
Did very, very well.
We did very, very well. We had a good day. But Trump was making the rounds yesterday talking about this, and this is kind of goes to a lot of his platform, which is why I think this something like this happening in the world is almost good news for the GOP in general, really, because they've been bitching about this shit for months and months and months, Trump especially. He was on, do we have some of that interview, Kadog? He was on Good Morning America yesterday with, I believe, George Stephanopoulos.
Clinton and Donald Trump, and Donald Trump joins us by phone right now. Mr. Trump, thank you for joining us this morning. You put out a tweet earlier this morning saying we need to be vigilant and smart. If you were in the White House right now, what would that mean specifically?
Well, it would mean specifically that we would strengthen up our borders, would be very careful who we allow into our country. Our country has got a lot of problems. We have a lot of people in our country right now that probably and definitely have the same feelings and the same feeling of hate as the people in Brussels. George, I was in Brussels many times over the years, and it used to be a safe and beautiful city. And then it really changed. And I want to tell you, now it's like an armed camp. Anybody that goes there will tell you it's like an armed camp. And I'm talking about before this morning's brutal attack. That was a horrible attack.
Hear that about a lot of places in Europe right now.
Brussels is different, and Paris is different, and lots of places are different. And the police don't have control of it anymore. And it's a very sad thing to see what's happening.
So you've got several fronts in this war right now. What would you be doing against ISIS in the Middle East, in Syria and Iraq? And what more assistance would you be providing to Europe to help them deal with this problem?
Well, I'd be hitting ISIS so hard, and I was not in favor of Iraq, and I was not in favor of a lot of things, but with ISIS, with the chopping off of the heads, and this is ISIS related, of course, but with the chopping off of the heads and what's going on, the brutality, you've got to hit ISIS so hard, and you've got to take them out and not play tiddlywinks like we're playing right now, and you've got to take them out, and you've got to get the people, the surrounding states, you've got to get them to put up the manpower, because that's what it's going to take.
So you're ruling out American troops on the ground?
I'd rather not do that. Now we have to take them out. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather use the local countries because
they all lead him down the road of well, they all want to get to enhanced interrogations because they know he's like, I'm all for waterboarding. I think we need to do that. He actually said on George's show yesterday, he was like, I want to do waterboarding and more and more. And
like, fingernails, pliers and fingernails.
We're gonna rip fingernails off. We're gonna start peeling some skin on some of these assholes. Like what else?
Did he
is
say that or
no? He didn't say peel skin on people, but he did say and more.
Okay.
So I don't know what his and more is, but people are like, oh, you can't do that. Well, I can't now, but I will be able to. When I take control, I'll make an executive order. We will be peeling skin eventually. I don't know why people always say that doesn't work.
What?
The interrogation's like, wow, it just doesn't work. They'll tell you anything you want to hear. But like, okay, so you find out that's a lie, and then you go, okay, it's time to peel some skin. We'll eventually get the truth out of him.
Yeah, everybody always McCain is a big anti-torture guy, because of what he experienced in Vietnam, and they always fall back on this, we're better than that kind of thing. So, oh man. Are we? Should we be?
I think to the general public, they like hearing something like that. There's an air of strength involved in a statement that like he's making and has been making for a long, long time. It'll be interesting to see what kind of effect this has. I'm doing everything I can. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I've definitely sent some thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers?
And prayers.
Oh.
When?
Last night
specifically, what were you?
Last night I was thinking and then praying, and so
did you put the Belgium flag over your Facebook avatar? That's the real question.
I haven't been. Listen, my support is not as strong as it could be. I thought about doing that, putting the Belgian flag colors over my.
Are we ready? Can we move? I mean, there's still a gay one. I don't know if we could remove that yet, or France. I mean, those
France.
Are both,
yeah, I think you can remove France now.
Kenya, though. I mean,
Kenya. What does Kenya have to do with this? I didn't even know there was something we were supporting with Kenya.
5 seconds of glorious flight in Kenya. No, dude, can you take off the French flag?
Can you? I've never been to Can you? I think
because this really dredges it back up, man.
It better be pretty instantly if you do it. It better be like boom to boom.
You cannot go Paris, France avatar to your own avatar and leave it. Now, if you want to remove Paris, France avatar and go right to Belgium avatar colors, I think you're in a safe space.
Although that's supposed to be an app that was done on Facebook, right? That wasn't something people were just doing. I haven't seen anything like turn your flag over.
Yeah,
I've seen don't care.
Well, I know. Yeah. There are people. I've seen the Belgium flag.
I have
colors, and all the world monuments. They've all got these new like LED light shows. They can't wait to brag and show off about.
Yeah,
the Eiffel Tower.
Perfect time.
And so they are all on display. Like, oh, just wanted to
solidarity.
In case everyone was wondering where we stood on this, here's your proof. Boom, and we're going yellow and green today, folks. Tony Blair made some comments as well. Actually, I think he's former prime minister, and Tony Blair was talking about this, I think just before the bombing, like the day before the bombings. And he said many in politics are now unwilling to take people on, fearing that they will be seen as intolerant of other cultures, which is kind of something we've bitched about for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He was speaking ahead of the bombing in Brussels. He branded such an approach ridiculous and said it had left our country's liberal values vulnerable to abuse. He urged the establishment to defeat violence by attacking extremist thinking in schools and wider society. There needs to be a tougher center ground approach to migration and the refugee crisis, which for many politicians is still a toxic issue. We're in a situation where we have to fight back. The center has become flabby and unwilling to take people on. We concede far too much. There's this idea that you're part of an elite if you think in terms of respectful tolerance towards the people. It's ridiculous. Too often, moderate voices are defensive about arguing their case, fueling a culture of extremism in religion and politics. One of the problems with the West is that it constantly can be made to feel guilty about itself, which, I think a lot of us feel that way. And he really seems to think that, I know it's politically incorrect, and people like Donald Trump, even Ted Cruz, a lot of those guys feel this way too, where it's not politically correct to say we're going to go into the mosques and we're going to see what people are doing. We're going to look into this shit a little bit. But he's like, look, these are breeding grounds around the world where this stuff is going on, and nobody feels like politically, it's not politically correct to go in there and keep an eye on some of these places. He said, but that's really where this stuff is being born. He said, these ideas are not something people are born with. This is what they're being taught. And at the same time, they can be untaught this bullshit, but you can't be afraid to stick your nose in and see what's going on in these places.
Yeah. And that's why, as you mentioned, Trump is going to benefit from this episode, because the guttural reaction of it is to support more.
Yeah.
And is that realistic? Can he really do that with checks and balances? Can he really accomplish what he's saying he's going to?
Mm-hmm.
That's up in the air. But yeah, definitely these sorts of events help that, because people get emotional after that, and your reaction is fuck these guys.
Yeah. Do you worry? Because I feel a different sense, and that we almost start taking things like this for granted. Like the first time you saw when 9/11 happened, it shocked the country to its core. I mean, it was shocking. The first time you saw one of these guys behead someone. Now a beheading video barely makes the news cycle. It's like, oh yeah, they beheaded 20 people yesterday. I read stories every day. We could do stories every day about kids being fingered or heads being cut off, Christians being slaughtered,
homos being thrown off roofs.
Yes, those stories, they haven't stopped. They're everywhere.
I guess I'm attracted to a dude.
But they don't.
Could be worse, Eve. You could be thrown off a building. All I'm doing is just hitting that.
I guess I'm attracted to a dude. So.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
yeah.
Once you see these attacks go on, San Bernardino is jarring, but then, and Paris is jarring. This one seems a little less jarring. The fact is, there were twice as many people killed and twice as many people injured as
I don't know if I think it's just a personal reaction. I don't know that this is less jarring. I'm personally more jarred by this than Paris for some reason, just because I don't know. Maybe I'm just at the point where I'm paying more attention, or was busier then, or had other things on my mind. But I think
I thought Paris was really jarring.
I think it just varies from person to person and where you are and what kind of time you're able to put in it, what kind of thought you're able to put into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling like it's not quite as jarring. And maybe you're totally right that it's just my feeling, because I see so much of it, but it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, just wait until there's another one here. You know?
Yeah.
San Bernardino was shocking. Just wait till there's some sort of bomb in an airport.
A mastermind, calculated attack and effort.
Incredibly well coordinated attack.
Yeah, anyone can still drive up to the airports. I know you can't go in like you used to, but you can drive
you
right up.
You can still go in, though.
No,
you can't go through security.
I know, but I'm saying you can drive right up to that, that front gate. And I don't know.
No, but that's what these guys do. You could take a taxi just like them with a suitcase, which they wouldn't let them touch. Don't touch my suitcase. And which that guy remembered. Was like, that's kind of weird. Usually people will let me help them load their suitcase.
They want me to do that.
Yeah. Did you see their gloves?
Oh, the gloves are so, God, that's crazy, isn't it? To see
creepy.
Yes. Chilling photo with the left-hand glove.
Yeah. Left-hand black gloves with they think the detonation device. And yeah. And so they're holding these metal baskets. They're just like a shopping cart to carry your luggage. You've all seen those. And I thought it was if you take your hand off that thing.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
I heard there's two schools of thought on this. It's a dummy switch like that. If you take your hand off, so if they're shot, their hand will release and the thing will blow. Or there's some sort of mechanism on the fingers that if they touch together, if the bare fingers touch together, it'll go. So they keep the fingers separated by the glove.
Really?
But
so what? They would have to take the glove off then in order to detonate?
Yeah.
Wow. I would think that would be I know, isn't it creepy to look at?
No, you hear analysts look at that, like ATF people and stuff, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly the sort of behavior we'd be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 guys like that, wearing gloves, pushing carts with a lot of luggage on it.
Yeah. That's crazy. God, he looks like a Fear and Loathing out of Las Vegas, that asshole on the right. Anyway, the sad news, unfortunately, doesn't end there. Yesterday was a brutal day as we lost a good one, man. We lost a real good one.
Who do we got?
Former Toronto mayor Rob Ford passed away. Oh, I love that son of a bitch. Absolutely loved Rob Ford.
Who's he leaving his NFL tie to? Remember that thing, the NFL helmets? He got so much flack for that.
I don't remember that
dude,
NFL helmets.
The dude's standing there in an interview talking about how he's been caught smoking crack and all that shit. And he got so much flack for wearing a tie with NFL helmets on
wasn't
it.
he?
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't he wearing a jersey, too?
Oh, yeah. There was another time when he was wearing a jersey. But
look at that son of a bitch. It's almost Farley-esque, the physique.
Dude,
he looks so much like him.
So Farley. If Farley was alive today, he would absolutely play Rob Ford.
I have what doctors call a little bit of a weight problem.
Those drops.
Former mayor of Toronto, Canada. That is awesome. That is so awesome to me. He died after an 18-month battle with cancer, 46 years old.
I'm just dandy.
With heavy hearts, his family released a statement with
Very heavy hearts.
Yeah, very, very heavy hearts. Look at him in the hospital. Why would you let that picture be taken? You don't let that picture be taken.
God, he looks like Farley. Look at that dude.
That one.
Yeah, you got the little, what do you call that on your head?
Yeah, the scrubs, like they put them on the
pre-surgical.
Yeah, the hat they make you wear.
Is that what like Nana wears around
net? It looks like
Nana wears around the head, around the house with the curlers underneath it.
She does not wear. She doesn't curl her hair up. Not at this stage in the game.
So the family broke the news with heavy hearts and profound sadness. The Ford family announces the passing of their beloved son, brother, husband, father, Counselor Rob Ford. Earlier today, at the age of 46, a dedicated man of the people, Counselor Ford spent his life serving the citizens of Toronto.
Yeah, he did.
Current Mayor John Tory said the city is reeling with this news. Are they? Is the city reeling? He was a man who spoke his mind, who ran for office because of the deeply felt convictions that he had. I know there are many who were affected by his gregarious nature and approach to public service. So they basically said he deteriorated, and so they had to put him inside Canada's version of hospice. He's survived by his wife, Renata, and their two young children, Doug and Stephanie. Ford, of course, became famous to all of us. He came on all of our radars, which is kind of gross, but he did come on our radars.
Got to clean my radar.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
He came on our radars when he was accused of smoking crack, and it was like Marion Barry all over again, the former DC mayor.
Yeah.
And
he was just so out front with it though. Like he just available for interview and shit like that.
Remember him hanging out with those Jamaican guys?
Oh, yeah.
Drunk as fuck and trying to talk Jamaican. Oh God. Do you have a video? I think there's a bunch of these compilation videos, like the best of Rob Ford moments. Didn't he attack some lady
on like the floor of Parliament or some shit?
Ran after her. This is a Donald Trump presidency waiting to happen. Like if Donald Trump
back in May, and you can repeat that question.
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
When,
but
sir?
no, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have
I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. I don't know what. Oh, guys. Oh, okay. Can I just?
Yes, please.
All I can say is I've made mistakes.
Hell yeah.
I'm not driving.
With a couple drug dealers.
What driver?
Get pictures with him.
That is so Chris Farley. It's not even funny.
Brother. You got it. Give me some clothes. I give you some clothes.
These assholes running around a mayor of Toronto.
I'm sorry,
Imagine the shit.
Me that they can laugh at me all they want. They don't know Rob Ford.
Rob Ford, according to Rob Ford.
I was born and raised here. And, went to school here. I know everybody, and I'm no nonsense. I'm not. There's no phoniness. I am what I am, and I'm sincere, right? Oh, and the last thing was Olivia Gondak.
Yeah.
It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Have you purchased illegal drugs in the last 2 years?
No. Yeah. How do I answer this?
Yes, I have. Have you been into that house?
I have no interest in being in that house. I'm not a crack user.
So you're absolutely right. I've made mistakes, personal mistakes, but these mistakes was not in this council chamber. It was in my personal life,
I sincerely apologize. I understand the embarrassment I caused every member of this council. I understand the embarrassment that I've caused every resident in the city, but we all have skeletons in our closet.
Have you admitted all of your problems?
I can't come out I don't know what else there is. I don't know. I don't know. There might be like a coat hanger left in my closet.
Hey, now the last thing that many people say is take a leave of absence.
I'm absolutely not taking a leave of absence.
Hell no.
Most definitely keeping this job. And on October 27th, the people have the right to decide, do they want a mayor that watches every dime and that saves millions and millions of dollars, or do they want someone else? That's their decision. I am not leaving here. Do you smoke crack and are you a crack addict? No, I don't smoke crack and I'm not a crack addict. Have I? Yes, I have. So that's what I didn't lie. I don't smoke crack. I haven't smoked crack in over a year.
But that's semantics,
Oh, it's
Mayor.
not
Come on,
semantics.
it
To you,
totally
it's
is
semantics. It's
semantics.
typical media. You guys are the same. You're all cut from the
That's
same
right.
cloth.
God, he's huge.
Yeah, he is.
I don't look at myself as the mayor. I look at myself as just a normal, regular person.
Crack smoking dude.
All these rich elitist people, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. They're suing and they don't know. They're perfect. They don't do nothing. Get out of here. They don't do nothing.
Hell yeah,
They're the biggest crooks around.
I
I show up every day to work. Yeah, you know what? Sure. Well, I've gone to a party and I got a couple of drinks with them. Yeah, some good times.
Who hasn't?
Like, it's only human. You ever got drunk before, Bill?
Of course.
Okay, sure.
But I'm not running the biggest city in Canada.
Mr. Ford, please direct the question through the chair to the staff.
Again,
Oh, I thought that's what
who do I
You
speak
can't make
to
this stuff up. He's
about
dancing
the
in
proper code of
Parliament.
conduct?
Counselor, matters with respect to code of conduct.
Stop.
Mayor Ford, please stop disrupting.
air
Do
driving.
you know when we ended up getting?
Here we go,
Is
right?
this where he goes after her?
Look at him go. Look at Farley go. Oh, the lady in the green.
Yeah. That was That was a love tap. That's a
This-
love tap.
We couldn't build any momentum.
Folks, reminds me of when I was watching with my brother when Saddam attacked Kuwait.
Saddam.
And President Bush
Look at
said,
that
I
red
warn
cheek.
you,
Look at
I
that
warn
hair.
you, I warn you, do not. Well, folks, if you think American-style politics is nasty, you guys have just attacked Kuwait. And you will never,
Okay.
you'll never see something that you have, mark my words, friends, this is going to be outright war in the next election.
gonna be
and I'm
who?
going to do everything in my power,
Okay, Mayor Ford, your time's up.
everything in my power.
Remember the
To beat
video
you
of him
guys.
throwing the football too?
Thank
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Mayor Ford.
Fuck, you're right. Yeah.
What you're doing to me is
It's
kicking
amazing.
me out of
And
my
it's like front
office,
yard, right?
and
He's
it's
doing like
worse thing.
moves
I
or
thought he was on a
whatever.
football field
Oh.
wearing like an Argonauts jersey. or
Okay,
something.
maybe. You know what? I know what I'm thinking about.
What a political flame out, man. There must have been a time where he could impress people. He was elected
Oh, yeah.
Toronto mayor.
Yeah, and they liked him too.
I thought, did he get
What's-
reelected in that?
How much is left in this video?
Thank you.
Oh, they've got to have the football.
That might,
Here it is.
Oh.
Yellow 80! Yellow 80!
Yeah, two-step drop and bid it.
You know what I was thinking about in his front yard? Remember there was that too. Remember he was like in his front yard. He like bolted out of the front yard or something, or what was that? They were like attacking him at his. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm
I don't
remembering different
remember.
Robert Ford
What a
stuff.
mess.
Well, I want to know what play he was going to run there. Yellow
Yeah,
80.
where was that
Yellow
going?
80. Omaha.
Where
He
was
takes
that
two
going?
steps and on his can.
Where was that
God, I
going?
love that. That's what politics needs. A guy like that to shake shit up.
Godspeed, Rob Ford.
Yes. He will be missed. He'll be missed by me.
Rest in peace, sir. Hey, due to construction, Zotford in Holly has run out of room and needs to move some inventory off the lot. Therefore, they have lined up some incredible deals for TDC loyalists. Simply head to I-75 and exit 98. Mention Big E has chronic ball itch, and you will be rewarded with a lease payment of only $148 per month on a brand new 16 Ford Fusion SE. Also, if you bring in a bottle of Gold Bond for Big E's Nuts, you will receive a free autographed TDC shirt.
Does the new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice come out this weekend? Is it Thursday?
It must, because you're starting to get the
reviews?
Yeah, the reviews and
Or no.
Detroit news and so forth.
It might look that up when that comes out.
I thought it was. I'll see.
But yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
This week.
It is this week.
Thursday night. I'm sure it'll be midnight showings or whatever.
With, of course, Detroit is the backdrop in many scenes as Gotham, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, I guess there's earlier than midnight. What happened to, you know what? That seems odd to me now. Have you noticed that the midnight showing thing? Like now they just open them Thursday regularly. Like it used to be, it was technically open Friday, and that's why you'd have midnight showings. And now look at, they're just 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Thursday.
Really? I don't have much hope for this movie, unfortunately. And the reviews are coming out saying kind of the same thing. I was really, really disappointed with the Superman movies.
The Rotten Tomatoes is not good for this. I know it's like early, obviously, because there's only, people that have in the know that have seen it, but 37%.
Oof.
And I know that's not the regular public pretty much right now, but still.
Are you excited for it? Are your kids excited for it?
I don't think they even know about it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never mentioned it.
We've got the review from the Detroit News, Adam Graham's review, and he says it basically saying it's laying the groundwork for future. They're trying to make a franchise out of Batman v Superman. I guess
Justice League.
What am I missing? Why don't Batman and Superman like each other? Like they're both good guys.
That's
like,
the big mystery, Mike.
Is that what it is? That's the question that needs to be answered.
That was kind of what jumped out at me 2 years ago or whatever when you first heard about this. Like, why would they?
Yeah,
they're buddies, aren't they?
You would think. But they say what I feared. What he talks about in his review, which is. It's a 2.5-hour collision that aims to bludgeon viewers into submission.
Just action scene after action scene, just unrealistic bullshit being thrown through cinder blocks.
Yeah. Remember, that was my bitch about the Superman movie with Cavill, Henry Cavill or whatever, playing Superman, who's playing Superman again, where it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna tackle Superman, and we're gonna fly through 4 buildings,
and it's so amazing. You've never seen anything like it. Yeah, you do. Every action movie they do now is all CGI, and we've talked about like it's just not that impressive anymore. It used to be there was something to Hollywood when it was stop action stuff, or that was what was so groundbreaking about Star Wars originally. It was just like models and things, and it was like, how did they do that?
Yeah,
that how did they do that feeling is gone, and you're just like. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Created a whole universe on computer. Cool.
Yeah. Seen it. Been there. The film introduces Affleck as Batman. According to Adam here, while Affleck looks good in the suit, as Bruce Wayne, he doesn't have the same level of sophistication as previous Batman. The movie relies on what we already know about Batman to fill in the gaps of his character. It opens as all Batman tales do with the murder of his parents.
Really?
Why?
Why do we need to keep telling that part of it?
To show how Batman is so brooding.
Do we really need
goes
to see
to his core?
Spider-Man was bitten by a spider.
Right.
Do we need to hear that storyline again for the 50th time? Really? I mean, it seems like we could be beyond, like there's a new Batman franchise every handful of years, and they all start the same way. The Gotham series on Fox starts the same way, and it's trying to figure out who murdered his parents. And like, why? Everybody knows that storyline. Who needs this?
I don't know.
I mean, there's so much in the comic books. Pick a page and start there, anywhere. Start in the middle of the goddamn comic series and just go, okay, now he's fighting this guy, and go.
I guess that's their attempt to put emotion into the thing. And the reviews I've read is that it's just empty. They try to do that. They try to make it like this emotional thing, but this director is apparently so focused on action that it's just kind of an empty story and just filled with fight scenes.
Is it Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
Who also did Man of Steel, not Man of Steel, but Man of Steel, the Superman movies that I couldn't stand. He says once Batman and Superman do meet, it's all brute force, which is the only language Snyder speaks. Previous Batmans worked because they were grounded in some semblance of reality, but it's hard to take something seriously when the characters are being tossed through cinder block walls and shoved through concrete floors for 1/3 of the running time. Ugh, that sounds brutal. I guess we get to meet Wonder Woman though.
Great.
Yeah, I know. Which obviously they're just setting up the Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I like the
Gleek
Justice
in
League.
this one.
I don't know if Gleek's going to make it in this one.
Damn it! Well, who's going to carry the water bottle for the water bucket for the other Wonder Twin?
I don't remember Gleek at all.
Gleek was the monkey, man. So you got the Wonder Twins, right?
Yes,
one
I
can
remember.
turn into an element, and the other can turn into an animal. And so the way that they always traveled was one would be like an eagle, and would carry Gleek in its talons, and Gleek the monkey would hold the water bucket and transport the other one.
That's funny.
It's good stuff.
This guy gives it a C grade.
There's the Wonder Twins.
Look at those poops. Oh, it was a chick too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Were they banging?
Probably.
They were brother and sister, but maybe.
Oh.
They're twins.
What would they say? Wonder Twins unite?
Wonder Twin powers activate.
And then
form of an eagle.
And
form of
sperm.
A stupid bucket of water that Gleek can hold.
Yeah.
Gleek.
Look at it.
That son of a bitch. There they are. They had to be really the model for the ambiguously gay duo, don't you think? Their outfits.
Yeah.
Completely
Totally does.
Guys.
Yeah, that looks like the ambiguously gay duo. Are you going to see this movie though? Do you even
gotta
care
be
to?
honest. I won't.
I don't think I will either.
The only thing that interests me is kind of the local connection to it. Like, I guess I'd like to see some scenes where, oh yeah, that's Detroit, or supposedly they did some Up Where Living Is Vacation, like Orion.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did a scene at one of the local dog parks.
I know they've got some of the Fox 2 anchors, I think, are in it too. I think Jay Towers maybe has a scene as like a reporter, and someone else too. So there's definitely a few.
Wasn't Bill Bonds in Planet of the Apes?
And
then I think Diana Lewis was in Rocky.
Yep, for sure.
Oh,
She interviewed him
while he was doing the meat
meat punching scenes. Yes, for sure. Anyway, why don't we take a quick time out? Sarah Palin was photographed leaving the hospital as she's checking on Todd
after his snow machine crash.
Yes, after the snow machine crash. Boy, that sounds like some brutal injuries.
14 broken ribs.
Yeah.
Oof, how many did we resolve? We have like
22 or something. Wasn't that what it was?
28?
That's a lot of broken ribs.
That is.
Are you counting both sides?
Yeah, if you count all of them. Yeah. Wasn't it 22 or 28?
You have 12 thoracic vertebrae that are connected to ribs.
Obviously.
That's
yeah.
Son of a bitch.
24 if you're counting both sides.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, we're not counting the 2 that E had removed so he could suck his own dick.
Yeah. Leave those
I guess
out.
I'm attracted to a dude.
24. You're right. So 14 to 24. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be painful.
There's nothing you can do for broken ribs too, right? Isn't that the deal? Like, you can bandage it
Can't
up.
cast them.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's tough. We'll do that more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey, it's Steve Gabarra from Zott Ford and Holly, the only dealership offering 2 for $252. Right now at Zott Ford, you get 2 brand new 16 Ford F-150 4x4 Super Cabs for just $252 with $1,000 due. That's 2 trucks for just 1 payment of $252. I'll say it again, lease 2 F-150s for just 1 payment of $252 per month. Hurry to Zott Ford and Holly, home of the 2 for $252, because leasing 2 trucks for the price of 1 can't last long.
Detroitcast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay.
Miguel, some information to add on the Brussels bombings. It looks
By all
like
means.
looks like
The floor is yours,
Our
sir.
guy Najim, the man in white. Looks like
Man in white.
multiple Belgian media reports are that they've caught the 25-year-old.
Really? The one
Yeah.
that looks like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yeah. So it looks like they got this dude pretty close to that Molenbeek district that they all these rats live in, and
Really?
yeah. So he went home too. Did his thing and then went home.
Why wouldn't he? It
Yeah.
worked for all his buddies.
Yeah.
Were you reading some story in the break too about some guy that some kid that was at like multiple?
Yeah, there's a 19-year-old American kid who's been at like 3 terrorist attacks. He was injured at the airport in Brussels, and prior to that, he was a block away from the Boston Marathon bombing, and then he was also in Paris, I guess, in the vicinity of the Paris attacks.
What is this 19-year-old world traveler? He sounds, I think Kadog mentioned he sounds like a suspect more than
Yeah, the common thread between these 3 events:
19
19-year-old American.
Yeah, he could go pretty unnoticed.
God, what are the
Think.
chances? That's crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, as we mentioned earlier this week, we've got an interview tomorrow set up with Ed Boylan. Boland. Ed Boland. The Battle for Room 314, I believe, is the name of his book. But he did a year in the inner school system in New York, in one of the boroughs, Bronx area maybe, and didn't go quite as according to his plan. He thought he was going to come in and all Coach Cotta and shit and fix the world, and boy, did he learn a harsh lesson. So excited to talk to him tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And as we mentioned earlier, Kadog heading off to Cuba. When are you're leaving tomorrow, right, Kadog?
Yep, tomorrow afternoon.
Excited, and you're going to a destination wedding.
Correct.
Interesting.
How do you feel about those, Miguel?
Destination weddings? You know, I feel like I think it's kind of cool that it's in Cuba. That's kind of a unique destination wedding if you can pull that off. But on the whole,
Presumptuous in any way?
yeah.
Like you can't expect a lot of people to go if you're having that. So as long as you go in with it'd be great if people could come. Here's when we're going. Here's where we're going. Is that their attitude, or is it like, are they getting pissy if so and so doesn't come? Oh, we're not even worth a couple $1,000s to come down.
I think it's also a good way to filter out fringe friends, because you know who your true friends are. They're going to be the ones who actually come to your wedding. And then this particular couple, they're like, look, we want you one day. Go have a vacation the rest of it. So that they don't expect us to be hanging around with them for a week. That would be awfully presumptuous. They just want one day of our time.
Knowing Kadog, this is probably his wedding. He's just not telling us.
Are you getting married in Cuba, you son of a bitch?
Oh, now he's knocking on himself.
Kadog, are you getting married in Cuba?
I am not.
He's not. It's good. Robin would never marry him anyways.
Wouldn't put up with his shit.
Would you?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Would I marry Kadog? No. For the record, no.
You don't think Robin would marry you, do you, Kadog?
I think she would.
How long have you guys been dating?
It'll be 4 years.
Whoa.
Well.
Yeah.
When's
Yeah. What is
shit or get off the pot?
What are your
what are you doing,
intentions?
Kadog? She's going to move on to someone else if you don't make a move soon.
Kadog, what are your intentions with Robin?
I think we'll eventually get married.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about her moving on. So.
Oh, wow. Well, she's
Sound
pretty good with
confident.
Kadog.
Pretty confident, yeah.
Guess she can't get any better than Kadog. Huh?
Yeah, how are you so confident?
What do you
Eric got it right on the head.
What?
She can't do any better than me. So.
wow. I'm going to send this to her. Send that audio.
Yeah, we need to
1
send this
hour and
audio to
6
Robin.
minutes.
I don't think she would. I don't think she'd. No. I just know I wouldn't marry Kadog. Why would she?
Kadog, will we be invited to the wedding if it happens?
I see no point in inviting Mike.
Yeah.
Don't invite. Yeah.
Well,
right.
you can invite me. I just won't RSVP.
Yeah.
I wouldn't RSVP. But
So he'll be there if there's nothing better to do.
Yeah. I think inviting anybody in this room would just be a waste of an invite because no one's going to show up anyway.
Oh, don't.
I would go to your wedding, Kadog.
That's not true.
Unless it's a destination wedding.
Yeah.
I would most likely show up.
He would show up
Open
for
bar.
the free beer,
Right. If there's an
and
open bar,
food.
I will be
Jay would
there.
show up with. He'd have to have a role. You'd have to let him do the prayer or something, like
Please,
he did at
God.
Derek's.
A speech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give a speech about
An
Kadog.
open mic. Give me an open mic.
And then I would, as long as I could just show up and kind of just sit in the background somewhere, I'd be good. I'd go.
What are we talking about? This Kadog's never getting married.
I know. Unless Kadog wants to tell us something.
You're living in sin right now, Kadog. Just by FYI, by the way.
Unless there's something Kadog wants to tell us about. Kadog, are you on fianced?
Well, there you go.
Answer the
You asked
question.
about- is
Are
he-
you on fianced?
I am.
That son of a bitch.
Look at
got on
that
fianced.
CIA member holding out on us.
The hell?
When did you get on fianced, you son of a bitch?
Last weekend.
How do you not mention that? How does that not come up?
It just didn't come up.
You know
don't
what? I just thought
Son
about
of
when
a
you
bitch.
asked that question. I just thought about that. You asked him, "Is he getting married this weekend?" You didn't ask if he already was married or if he was.
You're on fianced and not married, right? You're not married?
On fianced.
Did you have a
Is that
bucket
why
of
you were so
kids we don't know
confident?
about?
No kids. I mean, if there's kids, I don't know about them.
This is exactly what we were talking about yesterday. When
Yes.
Jay and I were going on and on about Kadog. Wow, maybe he's in the CIA or something. He's a black ops spy. Has he murdered someone? He'll never tell you. He's the perfect guy to tell a secret to because he won't say anything. And we've learned stuff about you
just by
since
asking
the day
direct
we
questions.
met you. I just don't understand like how that happens where it's like it just
Hey,
kind of
Kadog,
comes
how's your
out.
weekend? Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Didn't mention, I got on fianced.
How did you
What
do it,
the
by the way?
hell?
Did you get on a knee, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, I got on the knee.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
How did it go? Were you worried at all that she was going to say no?
No, not worried at all.
Yeah. Nothing but confidence.
Yeah.
No wonder he was so confident she wasn't going to do any better.
So how did it go down? Tell us. Take us through the romantic
I'm
moment.
so intrigued, dude. I want to know everything.
There was actually some good timing because my family was in town because none of them actually live in Michigan anymore.
Yeah,
and
your hot sisters.
Oh, yeah. You have two hot twin sisters. One's better looking than the other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So the twins.
Which one is it again?
Sarah is the one you guys like better.
No. Which one do
I
you
see
say
what
is
you did
hotter?
there.
Which one do you say is hotter?
No, they're equal in my eyes.
So
that's
they're
not
both
true.
hot.
Yeah, they're both hot.
Which one's better looking?
Great
though?
genes run in my family.
If you had to bang one, which one would you
I
bang?
would bang neither of them.
But one of them is hotter than the other. It has to be.
We declared Sarah was the hottest, I think, as you said.
Yeah.
I don't remember what either of them look like, though. I got to be honest with you. No offense to them.
So they were in town as well as my mother, who doesn't travel well. So it was actually like a great timing when I had everybody together. I just proposed to Robin and she said yes.
Wow. How
did you go to dinner?
No, like my mom has MS, so she's not very mobile at all. So
Yeah.
they were all just at the house. And
My favorite sclerosis.
Did did they show up after? Did they know it was going? Did you were they like up in the, you know what I mean? Were they there when you asked her? Did they show
Did
up
they
after?
know, or was it just? Did you just take the room by surprise?
Nobody knew, and they were there, and it was just like the whole evening went. And
What did you
then
say?
they were like, "Oh, it's time to go," and I'm like, "Okay, well, before you go, I want to say something."
And what did you say when you said that?
and I
after
said-
you said that, what followed?
something along the lines.
No,
of,
verbatim.
Yeah, you had to have a speech prepared, right?
About you love her.
I brought out my index cards and I said, there's a few talking points here. And I said, like the last 4 years of my life were great. Actually, I might have said 14 because that's how long it feels like it's been. And I said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And Robin's like,
Did she
yes.
cry?
Did she weep?
Yeah, there were tears.
Cry
Did you
or weep?
I definitely did not
Yes,
weep.
The hands to the face.
Yeah, she was totally taken aback because nobody saw it coming because it was just right at the end of
Because
the
it's
evening.
you. Yeah, no one would ever
Yeah.
see anything coming with you.
And they
Gross.
thought I was just about to make some flowery speech about how great it was to see all my family together in one place. And
Yeah, that
when
wasn't the case.
I turned the table and I know my sisters were crying and jumping up and down in excitement, but I don't know if Robin
Jumping
did.
up and down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
How
don't
many
get love,
people
I guess.
know this little secret before right now?
I think about 4.
Good dog.
Get ready for the congrats to roll on in
You son
via
of a bitch.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations. Way to become unfianced. I hope it works out well. You know that like 51 or 52% of marriages end in divorce.
I've heard that.
Not to scare you. You probably looked up the stats to make sure.
You're a
that this
smart
is
man. You know
fit.
math.
Yeah. I mean, odds are not in your favor at all. I'm just saying for what it's worth. But
Good luck.
Fingers crossed. You're going to need it, obviously.
Run,
Well, I mean, in this room, out of everybody who's married, they're happily
100%.
Which means if the odds are going to go in favor, like Jay's already taken the 50% that's good.
I'm not getting married.
The 51% that ends in disaster is going to fall in your lap, unfortunately. No offense, Robin. I'm sorry. I mean,
good point, Mike.
I don't think Jay's on the outs.
No,
I mean,
good.
Yeah, you're good. So,
man, I didn't think of that. Good point.
Yeah.
So have you set a date?
We have not set a date.
Have you set a time frame?
No.
Is this going to be one of those 5-year engagements?
I don't think it'll be that long.
Is this actually going to happen?
It'll happen. It's just a logistics thing and a money thing at this point, trying to figure out how best to do all that and get all the families. We're talking international and all that stuff. So
do a Kadog wedding Kickstarter.
There you go.
GoFundMe.
Oh, we could do a GoFundMe for Kadog's wedding. What do you think?
No.
Then we'd have to show up for it for sure.
I disagree with that.
Yeah. It'll be in Canada, obviously.
Probably not.
No.
Probably be stateside.
So it'll be destination wedding in America. All right, cool.
Staycation.
Congratulations, my friend. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Robin's awesome. You're awesome. So honestly, I know we fuck with you, but that's very cool. And it surprises absolutely nobody listening and nobody in this room that you could get on Fianced a week ago and keep it under the radar completely with the entire class. That's hilarious to me. Hilarious.
God damn it. Hey, it's hard to believe, but spring is here. Let Krista Jelski of Remax Suburban take care of your spring cleaning. When you list your home with Krista, she will have your whole house cleaned before it hits the market. Check out Krista's website at kristasellshouses.com or call her anytime at 586-918-0900. Gonna do a little spring cleaning, Mike? Have you started?
You mean around inside the house or outside the house?
Inside or outside. Either one.
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't. I could have just answered you outright because the answer is no.
Yeah.
Why are you getting into spring cleaning mode?
Dude, it feels good to spring clean, man. There's something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get out of this kind of like closed in, dusty feel of the winter. And
yeah, but you've got slaves on demand that you can kind of order around. Russell, garage, Manny, yard. Like, I don't have slaves around here, so I can't.
The general just loading the troops.
The general just sits there and
mapping out a battle plan in the morning. Like, what if he rolled out this map? And
Sweet pie, you're on dishes.
There's definitely a list with check marks that are applied when completed and so forth.
And backpacks that are given out when done.
Am I the only one that feels a load off when that shit? Like, like mentally. It's a great feeling.
There's no doubt that it's a great feeling when it's done, but getting started is the problem. Getting started on it sucks. But when it's done, I agree. It's awesome.
If there only was a way to
get
have the
started
feeling of
on
the
something.
I was going to say have the feeling of the accomplishment without the pain and the hassle of the effort and sacrifice.
I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to get out there and do some work in the yard.
Where? Can I
set
come?
a small goal? What are you going to do?
Let me come that day.
Eventually, the
Gross.
back. I gotta. I might need E's help.
Well, I'll come that day, and then I'll come over here and watch you.
Yeah,
I will masturbate before I come over. But
no, the backyard. I want to clean up the yard and stuff. So we'll see.
No. Let's set a specific goal.
I don't want to set a specific goal. I'm not going to hold you to something. You're not my dad. Leave me alone.
I think you need this so that you'll actually accomplish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what are you going to do? You going to clean up the pool area?
Yeah.
You're going to rake the leaves out of there?
Well, I don't know.
You going to open the pool this year?
Let's not get crazy. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'd like to do that. My goal is to
I'd
open
do a
the
lot
pool
of
this year.
things.
I'd like to think that might happen.
Yeah, I like to think I can get that accomplished. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to get the pool open. Anyway, before the break, I mentioned Sarah Palin, images of her leaving the hospital. I guess there's a little dust up going on. She had Trig with her, or the daughter had Trig with her, the one that's got one of the syndromes. He's got the Downs.
He does have
the
the
Downs. Touch of the
Downs.
Downs. Trig does, and he was in the hospital wearing his Donald Trump hat, and I guess some nurse made a post on Facebook and was like, oh yeah, fits right into Donald Trump's fan base or something.
Mongoloid,
Donald
like a Trump supporter,
kind of a retard joke, and they were outraged by it. As you can see, that's kind of shitty, but that a nurse would do that, and why you would think you could, I don't know. But so there was some people pissy about that. But anyways, there's talk of her getting a reality show, like a judge show.
Oh man.
I thought those are kind of going on the outs. I really think I felt like a reality shows are kind of going a little more.
I
out
hope
now.
so.
I'm serious
I hope
about
so.
that. I really thought that, but maybe not.
I don't understand. Like, she's not a lawyer.
No.
She's not a judge.
Well, I don't think those TV judges apply any law, do they? It's always just kind of like.
But Judge Judy's really a lawyer.
Yeah, I know.
though. mean,
but
she's
do they? Like, I think it's just the drama of some dumb conflict, and then they go, "Oh, this is fair. You win."
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any legal principle being followed, but I see your point.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite fit with her.
Yeah, I don't know how that will work. I guess they talks in production talks have been in the works since February, according to People magazine. Palin is preparing to meet with stations before setting off to film a pilot, which she will then try to sell to a network. And they say 2017 launch, so another year away or whatever. But yeah, that seems weird. Like, there's a million shows you could do with Sarah Palin. Why would you do like a judge show with her?
Yeah, they should have like a Kardashian type show, that crazy family show.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. They must not want to do that.
Right.
They had to have offered that. I mean, that would absolutely work if you wanted to stick cameras in that family's face. Are you kidding me?
Just the white trash backwood aspect of all that.
The names alone are sellable.
Right.
Trig and
Willow.
Yeah, Willow. Who's it? Levi as the blanket.
baby dada.
The baby daddy. And she was photographed leaving the hospital, which is probably where the nurse saw the kid and blah blah blah. But she was saying that he's still got a long way to go. 14 fractured ribs, a collapsed lung.
Of course, this is after the snow machine crash.
Absolutely.
Todd Palin.
Yes. She's been updating well-wishers on Todd's condition via social media. She wrote on Facebook, "Thank you for lifting Todd up in prayer. He's still in ICU under care of a superbly skilled staff. A long surgery repaired numerous breaks in Todd's upper body. Docs essentially lifted and secured every rib with steel bands." Oh, that sounds painful. "Anchored the broken clavicle with plates and rods. Set aside repair of broken shoulder for later. Also later are more minor things like ACL and MCL knee surgeries."
God, this guy wiped.
Dude.
On a snow machine.
Still mechanically inflating one collapsed lung while the other bruised lung, liver are watched. Chest drain is working overtime to keep things clear. This is not your typical
what happened?
Bumps and bruises. Yeah, we need to know more about this wipeout. Was he
kinda
drunk as shit?
I mean,
he's a professional.
He's like
Pushing the
head
limits.
on
He was
somebody?
pushing the limits of his snow machine. That's what he does.
I guess.
Nobody can do what he does.
Palin's youngest daughter, Piper. That's what I was trying. I was thinking Palin, but it's Piper. Was seen leaving her father. She drove a blonde woman there, believed to be her aunt, and Trig. So she was the one that showed up with Trig. Yeah, Trig played with a soft monkey toy. They say.
How old's Trig now? He was just a little guy during the campaign.
He's got to be. He's a few years old, 5, 6, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Sounds about right. I mean, he was just born when she was on the trail with McCain, right?
Yeah,
she wasn't pregnant. He was already born.
Yeah,
then.
he was definitely born. I'm just trying to think how born he was. Whether he was
still a.
I think I remember. Yeah, them kind of handing him to her, and he was pretty small, maybe like 6 months old or something.
Yeah, interesting. She still looks pretty damn good, by the way.
I think she looks better. I think she seems to be getting better looking as she goes on.
The picture they had of her leaving the hospital didn't look so good. I mean, no makeup at all. Just kind of a frumpy sweatshirt. She was on her way to Panda Express drive-through to get shit food for Todd in the hospital. Todd's laying in the hospital like that. I need Panda Express, post haste.
Oh boy!
And so she's there in her Cadillac or whatever in the yeah. There you go.
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
Shit.
Yeah, it's not looking good. But when you doll her up,
so is that Piper on the left?
Yeah,
with Trig.
Oh yeah, you see Trig there?
Yeah, little 4-year-old probably.
Yeah, is he 4 or 5? I feel like I've seen him.
God,
before.
wait a second, man. When didn't he run? When did he run? Let's back up. What was that election? Was that 04?
Yeah.
Is that possible? That's a 12-year-old kid? No. Right?
Wait, no. Did she come on board in 08? Must have been 08.
Right?
So he's 8 years old or 7 years old.
That's a small kid.
Trig was born In 2008, yeah. Interesting.
That's an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah. Does he look younger than that to you?
Hell yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Here he is in my homie sweatshirt.
Yes, he is. Look at her, huh?
Look at that pussy.
Yeah, when you look at her in these ones, that's why I thought she's looking as good as ever. But
Look at Todd, the snow machine racer.
Yeah.
Look at him.
banging the almost vice president.
What is going on, by the way, in our crematoriums and funeral homes?
Yeah, really. We've hit a theme here over the last couple weeks.
I don't understand the whole losing a body, mixing up a body.
I think we're seeing how reckless this industry really is, Mike.
It's insane. Another one, buried the wrong woman or cremated the wrong woman. You know, they put her in the clothes and all that kind of stuff. But they put this woman in this other woman's favorite pink blouse and white suit, her finest earrings and watch that she'd worn for years. Her name was stitched into the coffin. And yet when Val Jean McDonald,
it's just someone else.
It's not you. Val Jean McDonald's son saw their mom's open casket. They knew something wasn't right and shit. Her face looked different. Her hair had been cut off. Why would they give mom a fresh new bob weave cut? Daddy, that's not grandma. Errol McDonald's 10-year-old son told him. But through their tears, McDonald and his brothers couldn't fathom the woman who lay before them was someone else. It was only 6 days later. So they went through the whole thing and were like, nah, that's got to be mom and shit. And yeah, there's some pictures. After hundreds of people came by to say goodbye to Val Jean at the Harlem church that her 8 sons. So it was only 6 days later after this whole service at this Harlem church
that they buried her, and then they had second thoughts.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there she is. You think she'd be highly recognizable. There's some features there.
She looks a little bit like the lady from Sanford and Son, right?
Yeah, the one that would always fight with Fred.
Yes.
Aunt Esther?
Yeah.
Is it Aunt Esther?
Aunt Esther.
She totally does. It's the lip. It's the upper lip that's missing. She doesn't have an upper lip. It's just straight mustache space.
Yeah.
It's like rental space for mustaches.
Throw a huge Kitterman in there.
Oh, you could throw an impressive. I mean, even her nose. Her nose has even gotten out of the way. Her nose is leaving room of extra available room for a full Kitterman.
It has gotten out of the way. There's Aunt Esther.
And see, it's the lip, dude.
Yeah.
See, she's got room for a tremendous Kitterman as well. You see how the nose is kind of like made way?
Yeah.
It's kind of gotten out of the way. Like, hey, hold it. It's like it's roping it off. Like, stand back.
Absolutely.
There could be a Kitterman coming. So they finally learned that the funeral place got it wrong. That body is not your mother, a manager from McCall's Bronxwood Funeral Home told Richard McDonald. Your mother's still here. The news devastated the brothers, who said their goodbyes, kissed their mom's face.
You kissed a different dead lady.
And attended her cremation less than a week earlier. 6 days earlier, they had mom cremated after kissing her. And Val Jean was 81 years old when she passed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. That fact is interesting. Not quite 100, but 81.
No, 81. Yeah. Brothers did a double take. They did a double take when they first saw who they believed to be their mother in the coffin. We thought something happened and that this was the best they could do.
Yeah, like you probably assume like, she's dead and she looks. It's kind of what we discussed with the baby. And could you swap out an orangutan?
Yeah,
if a baby died at the hospital,
your head would probably never go to that place where they would put. There's no way they would put an orangutan
right,
here as a substitute.
Like maybe the baby. I don't know what death does to a body.
Yeah. Daryl, who's from Melbourne, Australia.
There we go with the Australia again.
Australia. So he flew in. He hadn't seen mom in a while, so he's kind of leaning on that. Like, dude, I was in Australia for like a week. Like, whatever. I don't remember what she looks like. And he told his brother Richard that the woman didn't look like mom, but the brother was like, she's been in the hospital for a while. She had tubes, all in her face. Sure. Her face could have changed. So that's what they said. Her face could have changed, and maybe she grew an upper lip and her nose shifted. I don't know, but you know what threw me off? The lady had mom's clothes on. That would be
right.
Would be tricky. She some of the 20 grandchildren and great grandchildren knew something was up. The 6-year-old great granddaughter was like, "Granddaddy, that ain't grand." Wasn't until the funeral home emailed Richard pictures of his mom, realizing their mistake as they looked for the other woman that they knew the children had been right. Daryl went to McCall's to confirm, and his brothers once again scheduled their mother's cremation, which only 4 members of the family showed up for the real one that time.
Well, the worst part of the story is the family of the lady they actually buried or cremated, right? Where are they and what are they thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
At least they had a mom to ultimately say goodbye to.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but they torched that one, the other one. So I hope they wanted cremation. That'd be awkward conversation if not the case. The McDonald's only told a few friends and relatives about the mix-up, but then they were like, then they started to tell people, and people were like, "Yeah, we didn't think that was her and shit." I knew it. I knew that wasn't her. So it sounds like it's one of those like, why would you say something, man? None of you thought that was mom. Everyone was thinking the same thing, but nobody said anything. James Alston, the funeral home's owner, wouldn't comment on it, but when he was showing photographs of the 2 women last week, his quote was, "Looks like the same woman to me."
Oh, racist.
So he's leaning on, nah, man, anybody could have made that mistake. The bitches look the same. The spokesperson for McCall's said the McDonald's were reimbursed and the other woman's family was never charged. So she got a free burial. That's not bad.
Okay.
They also wanted to meet with the family of the woman they had mistaken for their mother so they could share pictures and condolences, but the funeral home will not release her name, I guess, for legal reasons.
Hey, this reminds me of that funeral home story we did a long time ago where the body was stolen and she was a younger chick. She was reasonably decent looking, and there was some report that she had a stalker prior, and she ends up dying, and the body's like stolen out of the hallway of this funeral home.
Down in Texas.
That went to the Astronome couch / file.
And she was hot.
Did we ever learn anything more about that, the whereabouts?
No, that story started to pick up some heat like a month or 2 later. Remember when, because that came out early, like, oh, there was this guy that had the hots for her, and but yeah, she was pretty hot. It was like we immediately went, dude,
didn't
someone's
she have a
defiling
dystrophy or a sclerosis that
she
we
did.
admired?
Yeah, that's not the best picture of her, by the way.
No, it's not.
There are hotter ones out there,
but never found that we know of. Body's just gone.
I don't think. Didn't we even call that place? I thought we called that.
Oh yeah, that was the guy that we. Yes.
Yeah. That was the
funeral loop guy.
Yes.
Every time he spoke.
Yeah.
This came on.
Yeah, that's what that story was,
yes.
right?
They never found that body.
He sounded. You kept calling him Lurch Gomez Adams,
right?
Because he sounded like he's like, we cannot comment on that. And you were like, okay, fair enough, Gomez. And I'm just like,
yeah, we almost lost him a few times.
You know,
good saves, Mike. I give you credit.
And I don't blame you. You're new to this game, but usually it's like you let them start talking and then you slip in your Gomez and you hear what was that? And you're like, oh, nothing. No, finish what you were saying.
No.
Finish your thought. You know, you kind of give them the finish your thought.
I kind of like just hitting them upside the head with it.
Yeah.
And then letting you try to mop it up. That's fun to me.
Tell me about that Lurch, and then there'd be a long pause, and I'm waiting for the telltale click, dial tone. But then he'd carry on. It was like, wow, okay, we got Lurch in there. Jay got Gomez Adams in there.
The Crypt Keeper?
The Crypt Keeper, you called him?
Yeah. It's all flooding back now.
Yeah. It was fun. Remember the story we were talking about the other day? Reminded you of Hansel and Gretel?
Hansel and Gretel?
Hansel and Gretel.
I do remember that. The lady put a kid in an oven.
Yeah.
God, that freaks me out.
Turns out she was on meth.
Well.
Yeah. So blame meth for that. She's the Texas mom. She put her 2-year-old daughter in the oven, and they've now said Tasha Hatcher was in fact doing meth. She was arrested after showing up completely naked to a neighbor's house with her daughter, who was also nude, and
with 3rd-degree burns,
and had fresh burn marks on her.
Damn it!
Poor kid never had a chance.
It's like veal.
The daughter had 2nd and 3rd-degree burns on 14% of her body. I wouldn't want to see her naked.
No.
I mean, I like in
that
picture form maybe, but
walking up to your front door on meth, that naked
with a naked kid, ugh.
A pink naked kid.
What a horrifying scene with burn marks on it,
right?
Fresh burn marks. That kid must have been wailing.
Yes.
I mean, think about that, dude. When I just grabbed that thing out of the fire, that chair, that metal aluminum chair, and it fucking burned. I wanted to cut my hand off. It hurt so bad. For like a week, it hurt so bad. I can't imagine being put in the oven by my mom.
Can you imagine how scarred you would be,
Oh.
like mentally? Honestly, your mom has put you in an oven.
Yeah. Like I'm still scarred from like vicious wooden spoon attacks.
Picture that from the inside of the oven. You are inside an oven. The door is closing. It is hot as shit.
Yeah.
Your mom has put you in there.
Well, you know.
How do you get over that?
I don't know that you do.
How do you go beyond?
I don't know that you do. You'd never be able to look at the oven the same.
I wouldn't have an oven in my house, I don't think.
Yeah, that's
just be microwave or the stove from there on. I guess,
when police arrived at the scene, she began singing to God. I don't know what she was singing. If she was doing the whole hallelujah thing or what hymn she was singing. And then she starts making sexual comments to the deputy.
Oh, boy.
Just a whack job before telling him she'd shot the cat.
Did she indeed shoot the cat, too?
She also had placed the cat in the oven before she put her daughter inside there.
Is the cat okay?
I don't think the cat made it.
Damn it!
Police said she mentioned
Fried
K2
pussycat.
and continued to talk to herself and act sexually. Police said Hatcher did not ask about her daughter or what happened to her.
Sounds very bath salt to me.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When Department of Family and Protective Services official asked her in jail if she remembered putting her daughter in the oven, the mother's response was, "Curiosity killed the cat."
Ooh,
it's a good answer. I mean, it's as good an answer as anything, right? I mean, how do you answer that? Do you remember putting your daughter in the oven? I mean, curiosity killed the cat seems as good an answer as
anything.
I mean, seriously, what else can you say? She also told him, "Ask me questions and I will lie to you." Yeah, that would be a very, very tough one to get over. Hopefully the mom and daughter can work this thing out.
You're looking through that stained window, with like all the turkey grease and shit that's shot up on there, and it's hot as shit, and your mom just closed that door.
How long do you
think the light was on?
Probably. Well, it depends if she closed it all the way. If it was open a crack, the light was probably on. Right?
Are you on the top of a broiling pan? Are you just
I don't
on the
know.
little? Did she take out all the little ledges?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends if she had the cat and the kid in there at the same time. Like, because it'd be hard to stuff a cat and a kid in there. I don't know how big the kid looks. Pretty big.
Oh,
I know. Poor cat proops.
Poor kid proops.
Well, she's gonna be okay. Cat's gonna be scarred for life.
She's gonna be just fine.
Poor poops. What did I have to do with this? I didn't cry. Put me in the oven. Yeah, I don't know. These synthetic drugs, I hate when they call it synthetic marijuana and stuff like that. It's like there's not a marijuana plant on the world that's going to make you react like this. Let's call it what it is. That is a nasty drug, this K2 or cat or these synthetic marijuana. Sounds like a it doesn't sound like it has.
Is that what they said? Synthetic?
Yeah, synthetic marijuana. K2, a synthetic drug, but I don't know. It's just no marijuana I ever heard of done that to you, except the one that splayed E out.
Oh my God,
That's
debilitating.
Yeah,
one gummy bear took him out.
That's
Took
a
him
little
down
different.
to Chinatown, man.
Yeah.
Only thing that could get him up with was a smelling salt.
Barely.
That did get you up though.
For a few seconds.
Amazon link, please use it on DetroitCast.com.
Amazon.
There's really never been a company like it.
There has never been a company quite like Amazon.
They have literally everything.
There is very little Amazon doesn't have.
Amazon.
Go there, shop through our portal. We get a kickback. It's a great way to donate the show, or hit the donate button and donate. Appreciate those who have.
The Houston, Texas guy that was murdered in a carjacking the other day, the Ferris wheel guy in Vegas.
Yeah.
A few more details are coming out about that. Turns out they were brothers, the guys that killed him. Phil Panzica, his fiance Misty Bozant, 36-year-old stripper.
Oh,
it's a lot of stripping.
That's a veteran stripper.
That is a lot of stripping.
That is a 21-year-old's job, man.
Right. 19 to 22. Is that where you'd put that?
You
think you
get
could
away
creep
with
it
it
at
to
25.
26,
I was gonna
but
say, I think you could creep to 25. But
you start getting up into that 30 range, 31, 32.
it's like a sport, an athlete. You're not gonna.
Yeah. You're really hoping it's a dark club at that point. You shouldn't be on stage, but at
Maybe she might
36.
be just a waitress at that point. Maybe the one.
Shot girl.
Yeah.
No, they usually save that for the 18, 19-year-old. You know, that's
Okay.
their gig, is to get in there and be the shot girl. But so she says that he drove to the strip club, and you know, as we talked about yesterday, met her there at like 5 a.m. to pick her up. Apparently, this dipshit had been bragging to the shoe shine guy about all the money he'd been paid for his dumb Vegas story. I guess one of the tabloids gave him like $4,000 for an exclusive interview about his romp in the Vegas Ferris wheel, and he's bragging to the shoe. Why is there a shoe shine guy at a strip club?
I know.
Yeah, stop trying to class up
This
a
notion,
strip joint.
it's a gentleman's club.
Especially that's one of the ones that's open till if it's open till 4. You know what I mean? Some of them close at 2 still. The
I don't
ones that
care
are
if it's open till 9 o'clock at night. You don't need a shoe shine guy. Gentlemen going in there for a relaxing evening. Oh, use a good buff,
gentlemen.
And but yeah, this guy was the shoe shine guy, and so this guy Panzica sits down with him, is like, yeah, bragging all about this, and so he called his brother up. His brother came up there, and they hatched this genius plan to rob him. She's holding the check in her purse for $4,000 and her stripping money. And so
oh my God,
it sounds like they kind of ambushed him in the car, and then that's when he said, you know, what did he say? It was like, you need to come clean. And then before he could respond at all, he put 5 bullets in his head.
Oh,
and the guy was still alive. And they ordered her out of the car. Why you would leave her alive?
Yeah,
I have
really.
no idea. So they took the cash and the car and drove
Kia.
like 300 miles in this shit ass Kia. And she's left on the side of the road.
They've got a check, an uncashed check in his name.
In his name.
Trying to
What do you
figure out a way to turn that into cash money.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Christopher Watts and or Bryant Christopher Watts and the other guy was Jones something. I can't remember, but now there's disputes going on. There's GoFundMe pages for him and his shit family that have popped up, and they sound like such trash. There's already infighting and stuff going on. A woman claiming to be his sister. That's a freshly spanked ass, by the way, in that picture we're looking at.
Yeah.
Did you see handprints on the ass cheek? That has been freshly spanked. Look at that.
That's my man, huh?
Hell yeah, there he is. All tatted
It's
up.
like the type of dude who'd be banging in an open Ferris wheel in Vegas.
Hell yeah. Which I don't blame him for. I think I kind of like that story. I respect that story. Morgan Massad writes that Philip was not only my best friend, but he was the love of my life.
Sure.
Details of his. Well, here's the thing. The girl that was in the car with him, they'd broken up. So I don't know why he's in the car with her, but they'd broken up and gone separate ways. She'd forgiven him for banging some random whore in Vegas.
but they weren't getting married anymore.
No. And so this is a totally separate girl who's like, oh my God, he's the love of my life. This is a third girl. And he was not only my best friend, but dude, it was a month ago that he was getting married to the stripper and banging someone else. And now this third random chick says he was the love of my life, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
My best friend, and details of his and mine love life and relationship is no one's concern. We were together for a long time, and I'm close with his family. I'm doing this for him and them. Help me help them raise money for the services. And then a woman claiming to be his sister, Audrey, seemed to be skeptical, writing, I sure hope the money you're raising, in fact, goes to this family. The mother of his 3-year-old son also criticized the GoFundMe. She wrote, Brandy is her name, Brandy Garul, said, the situation with us has been going on for 5 years now. Just because you dated him for like a fraction of that time, you still don't know a fraction of our story or situation. You know what he wanted you to know, and that's that. This is over like
oh my God.
Comments on a GoFundMe page.
Right.
They're having this out with each other. What mother in her right mind would allow their child around someone who was doing drugs at strip clubs till 5 a.m. and catching felony charges in Vegas? Is that what the public, if this is what the public has seen the past 2 months, imagine what they haven't seen that I dealt with for the past 5 years. Don't make this messier than it needs to be. All I'm asking is leave my son out of it.
Trash asses.
God.
I hope that this doesn't raise a dime, by the way.
Right.
No offense to them. I know everyone's got their story, but this hardly seems that like you want to give money to the We Witch Foundation by all
poor little
means.
guy. He wasn't a witch. He was
Yeah.
just a little.
It says you. I'm inclined to follow the family on this one, but you want to donate to the We Witch Foundation? Fine. You want to donate to Kadog's wedding down the road? Whatever.
Sounds like you left $4,000 right there. That's probably good enough. That'll get
Yeah.
him buried or cremated.
It's more than he was going to give the kid the rest of his life,
Yeah.
so it's a good start.
Mike, we do have some email.
What do we got, buddy?
Well, before we get to that, we got to tell you about our buddy Mark Leibovitz, financial advisor extraordinaire, asks, how much money will you need in retirement? For most of us, the answer is not at all clear. Retirement doesn't have to be a mystery. Contact Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial today to learn the answer to one of the most important questions for your retirement. Call today and tell him you are a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation, 248-626-2000, and ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Oh, thank you, E.
No problem.
Ted writes in, King, Queen, and Princess. First, I was listening and heard the discussion about the mispronounced quesadilla. I think that was one of E's stories. He had somebody order a
Quilladilla.
Quilladilla. It wasn't a quesadilla?
No, I will
Quilladilla?
always remember her saying chicken quilladillas.
Nice. I have a buddy who likes to screw with waitresses, so he ordered a fajita.
Oh, what a cut up.
A fajita. The waitress asked, "What did you say?" He repeated. She walked away, and the manager came back and scolded him for his foul language and ordering that from the waitress. He told them he could leave if he thought it was appropriate. My buddy's response was, "It's on the menu." The manager was not amused. They were asked to leave. We assumed they thought he meant vagine.
Good for him.
How could you possibly think that? Fajita. Second, the phrase thoughts and prayers and all that shit is making its way into my everyday vocabulary. I almost said it to a friend who sadly is not yet a listener today, who lost her grandfather. I stopped short. She would have probably found it funny in a different scenario. Love the show and all that shit, Ted.
Sounds like your friend's a real cut up. Over the vagina. Get it? I'm fucking with the waitress. Taco hell.
You're gonna get a fajita back with some ass crack juice on it.
What are you, dude? I know it's a common phrase and it's used in the movie Waiting, but it's a common phrase. Like, do not mess with the people that are touching your food. And you're not. I don't know. Dude. I am the first person who likes to make jokes like that. But the waitress is like, I'm such a. Oh, look at get it. I meant vagina. I'm so funny.
I personally wouldn't do it either. Wouldn't mess with them. I wouldn't want it back with.
If someone was doing that to me,
juice.
especially if I
have messed with them before.
If someone like that.
Yeah, well, the time Derek and I were in there after the Roosevelts had the E. coli scare, and we were ordering pepperoni pizzas and shit. Like literally everything on the menu had some sort of fecal reference to it. We did that to a waitress, and they got all pissed off at us.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. Tim R writes in to the Detroit
we were young,
Cast.
our bodies could fight it off at that time. Whatever they put in
You're
food.
right. That's a good point.
Tim R writes into the Detroit Cast Troop with an E. I recently arrived back from the dangerous state of Florida and the magical Mickey Mouse land. Upon my return, I was really behind on episodes. So being that I work 10 hours a day with minimal interruptions, I was able to catch up on 13 episodes in 3.5 days.
Whoa.
It's quite an experience.
That's a lot of us.
It's quite an experience listening to you assholes back to back to back to back to back.
Ugh, sounds horrifying.
Can you imagine?
No. How, dude,
Just one
13
after
that's
another
26
after
hours of us. That's brutal.
Oh,
Ooh.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't listen to 2 in a row.
I'm all caught up now and ready for the next black, white, Asian, Mexican fidget or retard story you come up with. Seeing that the show is scripted, as I found out, it shouldn't be hard to just fit a story in, I assume. Anyway, it's good to be back home, and I'm ready for the next meet and greet or maybe a possible DCAST Cedar Point trip. Think it over, boys. That's good times right there.
What are we gonna all wait in line together and hold hands and
Yeah.
guys, we're all going to the Raptor now. Frank Bragg there and just whatever.
No, it's kind of interesting because people would go their own way, so you wouldn't be
Right. No, you're right. That's a good point. Maybe it'd be
confined. You could
better.
just like spread out. If there's a douche in the group, some guy that gets liquored up really quick and wants to dominate the trip, you can just be like, "Yeah, no, meet you at the Raptor,
Yeah,
sir."
that's a good point. You're right. Maybe it's
There's,
spread out.
there's something there.
Goodbye till next time, BUI. Tim R. P.S. I dipped the boot nugget toe first. You're not alone, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Everybody does.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
And Kadog's off to Cuba.
An unfianced dog.
That son of a bitch.
Ash writes in, Hearing Eric speak about his Pistons top in the beginning of episode 550 has confirmed his femininity.
Yeah.
My sisters and I poke fun at our aunt who always says, that's a sharp top, or those are cute bottoms.
Drew used to always talk about that.
Can totally
People
see
to
an
learn
aunt.
tops.
Yeah, an aunt saying that. Look at those bottoms.
Mhm.
They're cute.
Oh, adorable.
My cousin always joins in on our laughter at said comments. Every time she says top or bottoms, we all laugh. The only thing close to it is when she told us that one of my mom's friends was fast, and that's why she was not a good influence. She was fast.
What does that mean?
Fast.
She bangs.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
you
I've
never heard of
That
that
girl's
terminology?
fast.
Yeah, you're
I
a
think that
whore.
goes back to like the
fast.
50s or something.
Yeah,
That girl's fast.
but still, I'm shocked you've never
I've
heard
heard
that.
easy. I've heard whorish.
Fast and loose, Mike.
Loose, I guess I've heard. She's loose. That one's loose.
My God,
Gross.
a top?
What a visual that is. That girl's
Loose.
loose. Just
Yeah.
falling. I can hear her coming. That loose one over there.
The wind.
Here comes the loose one.
Here comes Annie. Whatever.
Whore. God love whores.
I thank God for them.
Yeah, whores are the
It's the
greatest.
only reason I've ever got laid.
Oh yeah.
Derek writes in with more of his Erictionary, the book of Ericsisms posts. So Ericisms. So what he's been doing is he's been collecting a lot of Ericisms and putting them in this. And I haven't read one of these in a while, but he collected some recent ones. He says the last one is his favorite with an OU. So we know he's a neighbor to the north.
Yes.
All right, here's one. Perpetualating. Which
Did Eric say that?
Which yeah,
Probably.
perpetualating. Derek surmises that means perpetuating.
Probably, yeah.
And so
I'm
it was
sure that's
used
what I
in
meant.
this context. Nope, I'm not gonna. You guys are just perpetualating. They follow you guys like the fucking guy with the pipe or whatever with rats, into the water. Jay laughs. You mean the Pied Piper? And that's from number 511. If anyone wants to pinpoint
God,
that.
that doesn't even seem. That's in. I remember that, and that seemed like a lot long ago.
Yeah, it
longer
does.
Ago. It felt
You're
like
right.
that was.
Supposedly,
Yeah, I can't say that
with a
word.
Z. We've all heard this a million times. He means supposedly, but the Tard repeatedly says supposedly.
Yeah.
No, I cannot say that.
With a
word.
Z and a B. Shouldn't have equals this is Eric's contraction for should not have or shouldn't have.
Right. Yep.
Eric. So she says,
Oh no.
looks don't mean anything, so I should go for it. But if she's gross, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have. It's one word.
Why not?
Significantly.
Significantly.
Derek surmises means
Yep.
significantly. Sometimes it's like Eric's tongue is too big for his mouth. And that's from number
I've heard people
527.
say that before.
Yeah, that's a common thing with
Here's one.
thick tongues is not exclusive to your condition.
I've heard people say that before.
I like this one. Thorough.
Thorough.
Derek surmises means thorough. Jay says a thorough investigation was conducted. E shouts in the background, yeah, thorough. Yeah, thorough.
Yeah, get him thorough.
That's from number 540. And then finally, troublous.
I was
which
gonna say. I thought this was coming.
Derek says is his favorite. He surmises that this
Wait, what
means
is it? What is the word?
troublous.
Troublous.
Derek
Oh,
surmises
boy.
this means troublesome. Times are troublous enough at home. I don't need to be at a nudist colony for Easter.
Which is true. I stand by that.
And that's in
They
547.
are troublous.
That happened, just a week ago. That's awesome.
They're very troublous at home.
Son of a bitch. Matt writes in, Mike, we do have some email. Matt writes in. Just reading.
Wow. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, fellas, for 550 episodes. Unreal. One of the few constants in my life. Keep doing your thing. Thanks, Matt. And Matt is apparently up where living is a vacation. Over at an Orion test site. So
Lake Orion?
Enjoy Lake Orion, my friend. Joe writes in, morning, gentlemen and retard. Love the show. I have one question. The show intro with, I'm assuming, Beth doing the intro with music. Is it possible not to make it sound so shitty? So I think this is probably relating to those days.
I asked a dog in the break-in on this, and he stumped too.
I'm
His
guessing
head is
that
a
million miles away. He's in love.
No,
Young
well,
Kadog
that's
is
true.
on
That's
fiance now.
true.
He's in love.
Cloud9.
He's just got robin birds flying around his head. He doesn't. He's
You're
like,
right.
what?
That's a
I
good
agree
point.
with anything you ask.
That's a good point.
today,
I'm
You're right.
guessing
Biggie.
Joe is a YouTube viewer and is wondering why it does sound so shitty when he is here. It sounds loud, and she may be speaking into a coffee can. By the way, who is the music by? He asks. Thanks for making my mornings.
Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Mike and Jay. Who's the music by?
A band called Blackwater Station. They were local guys, some friends of mine actually. And that song is called Heavy Skeleton. You cannot find it anywhere. It wasn't released. It was that actually goes back to about 1993 or 94. But it was a band we used to go see all the time. And so yeah, we threw.
You weren't in that one. I thought that was. That
no, I was in a
one.
band with
Okay.
with the singer and a couple of guitarists from that band. But that like years later, Gift Horse was with members of that band.
Okay.
But yeah, back then, I mean, those were 19-year-old kids playing that shit at the time.
Aaron writes in, I can get from Ed Harris to Mike Walters in 6 steps. So remember threw out the other day, like
here we go.
6 degrees of separation, the Kevin Bacon game.
Yeah. Ed Harris was in Apollo 13, a film by Ron Howard. Ron Howard was in Happy Days with Aaron Moran. You know where this is going, right?
I do.
Aaron Moran was in Joni Loves Chachi with Scott Baio. Scott Baio gave it to Pam Anderson. Pam Anderson did a photo shoot with Mike Walters.
No, she didn't.
No, she
She
didn't.
denied me for a photo shoot that I didn't want anyways. It's irrelevant. I didn't want it anyways.
Next time, make it a little harder. It was the fanny pack, but
Dude, you could probably play that game with anybody. You could probably get 6 degrees of separation. Yeah, you could. Big E was in studio one day when we had a celebrity in, and they were in a movie with someone. They
You're
would be
right.
easy. Yeah.
But I didn't.
You could connect. Well,
They say that
you could connect me closer to Scott Baio than that. Probably, I'd have to think about it. But
Right. You're right. You're right.
we've talked to Scott Baio. 1 degree of separation.
there you go.
Anyway,
We'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
all right. Well, have a good rest of the day, all. Enjoy the nonstop coverage of Belgium and Brussels. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen to God, watch you grow.